Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be taking a look into your weekly forecast for today on Mother's Day through until Saturday. Now we're going to get started with what we got going on right now. We have a slight risk for severe weather going on along the East Coast from parts of Virginia all the way back down into the Florida Panhandle and through Georgia. Now the main threats are going to be mainly going to be damaging winds. We could see some hail. With these, we have some serious damaging winds earlier this morning for portions of Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. They got hit hard today with potential wind gusts up to 80 to 90. There's also a secondary area of a slight risk. It's going to be very small. That goes to portions of southwestern Texas there. Your main threat's going to be a large hail on that one. And we do have some showers going on in portions of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, even some steady rain up into the Northeast. Could be heavy at times there. So, here's your slight risk today. Your tornado threat's also going to be there for both of those areas, but it's going to be pretty slim. There's your damaging wind threat. There's your hail threat there. So here's tomorrow. Got another slight risk. There's even a marginal risk for portions of Florida as well. And your main threat looks to be damaging winds and hail for southwestern Texas again. Also, tornado threat is also there. I'll say damaging winds should be primary threat for the Florida area. So on to day 3, got a marginal risk for portions of Nebraska and Kansas there. Now your 4 to 8 day outlook. Here's day 6. Now this is going to be the beginning of a potential multi-day severe weather event. Now this is going into Friday, so we're pretty far into time here when this begins. But we're expecting this to begin on Friday. This is day 6. You got a slight risk for portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. Now beyond that, day 7 and 8 is predictably too low, even though models do show pretty good potential for severe weather outbreaks to come. As you can see here in the discussion, severe storms are possible well on Friday, day 6 across portions of the northern plains for the coast into Minnesota. So, yeah. You can see here, even continues into day 7 for potential supercell development as it progresses to the east. Now, we're talking about multiple systems. This is going to be your first system. Now, I'm going to show you into detail what's going to be going on here. So, let's first start off your wind speed here. And this is going to be something pretty important here. So, let's start going to your Friday here. So, here's Friday. We are getting a negative tilt going on here. When you got a negative tilt, usually your best chance of severe weather will be somewhere on the southern end of this. Not the northern end, but the southern end here. See here, as it continues here, you can see that negative tilt starts to push into that where that slight risk area is here for portions of Texas, Oklahoma, into Kansas there. Now it's going to go into your Saturday. That negative tilt starts to die down, but we do have potential severe weather here in the plains again. I'll say for portions of Nebraska all the way back down to Texas, you can see potential severe weather on Saturday with a lot of shear in the atmosphere. You talk about around 90 knots, so those winds are a little bit strong up there in the atmosphere. Here we go into your Sunday. Your negative tilt starts to come back here. Comes pretty stronger here at this point here. Your severe weather again looks to be for portions of Arkansas, Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, maybe even trying to stretch it to Louisiana as well. There into your Sunday. Then that negative tilt starts to fall apart some, but starts to try to gain strength up here when it reaches to parts of the Ohio Valley, which we're going to have to watch that closely there. And there's Tuesday there, showing for potential severe weather as well. And it starts to flatten out though, so it's really Friday into Tuesday is showing your best chances of severe weather. Let's go ahead and take a look into your dew points here. could be pretty humid. The humidity, dew points gives you how much moisture is in the atmosphere. Humidity is basically what it is. So here we go. Let's try to go into your Friday here. You see here we got some pretty high dew points out ahead of us. Here we may even have a dry line. Well, no, it's not really a dry line, but we got a cold front developing. We got some pretty high dew points out ahead of us here. You see it really sticks in the 70s here, so there's a lot of moisture to deal with the atmosphere. Here's Sunday, there's your Monday, and here's Tuesday. And look at that. When you got a very strong negative tilt like this here, and you got a very humid atmosphere here, you're talking about potential tornadic supercells there. Potentially. But since it's still far out, things will probably change. But a good chunk of balls do agree on this. The GFS, the European, I know if does agree. But I can't show you the European that much, though, with it. So we're not going to see the European model today. Now let's go ahead and go to your Friday. We do have some Cape and Shear going on. We got K values up to 2600 knot Cape. We got some higher numbers up into South Dakota. So the severe weather front may push on to the north, though. We're just going to have to see what's going to happen here. Let's go to your Saturday here. Cape values start to get higher. We're seeing 3700 there. Go into your Monday here. And then you're starting to get some new development going on back here. As well as that system there kind of dies down. Got a new system developing out behind this. Back to sub. And here we go into Tuesday night here. Got very high K values here. You can see K values over 4,000. Even nearing 5,000 back into Oklahoma there. And then, there's some uncertainties going along with it. Let's take a look at your supercell composite here. Now, supercell composite gives you chances of supercells. So here's the beginning on Friday. We may even have this is Thursday night. So there is a chance of severe weather on Thursday night for portions of the Midwest there. Let's go into your, let's see here, Friday. Seems like the GFS brought this back down here, so now it's kind of a little bit of a lower fret than it was before. But here we go to your Saturday here. Got some enhanced risk there. Seems like it's supposed to be Saturday night event there. Then here we go to your Monday there. See, that kind of dies out. The brand new system develops. Here we go on to your Tuesday here. Giving it a 10. It's pretty high, isn't it? Then I could do some push off. Wait a minute, that was Monday night. Here we go into your Tuesday. Now, this is the day I'm pretty focused about here. It's a little bit widespread. There's a better negative tilt going along with this here. So there's a lot of rotation going on into the atmosphere. You see 57 knots. Let's take a look into one of those forecast items very quickly here. So your equinox is through the roof. You're talking about some potentially very large hail going on with this. We got some strong winds here. You can see here the redder, so you see these oranges and reds. Those are some stronger winds. We even got Cape values nearing 5,000 at the surface. And you got shear at 20. Now, this is a day we're going to watch here. That's what I'm really focused on at this point here. But I'll say things will change, though. Let's take a look on into your Vintage Sky. here. Let's see here. Let's go to the GFS. Let's see here. It's going to be Friday. By the way, Friday is my last day of school. Shows some very warm temperatures here. I think this is a little bit far. Taking a little bit too far here. As you can see here, got numbers 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Very warm temperatures. Let's take a look at your K values here. So that's 2 o'clock. Let's go to your 5 o'clock here. Got some very high K values out here as well, but that's out of the severe weather area we're focused. We're kind of focused on this area here. Got very high K values showing 4,000 here. Now this is without the shears, so expect this K here, this category here, to be a little bit higher. Here, got K values for the most part around 3,000 for these areas here, and that's a lot. You can see here the winds out of the south are pretty strong here. As you can see here, these white lines there. Let's take a look at your Cape and Shear. Very low, fairly low. We got some higher amounts back to Texas. We got some pretty high amounts. This is around the low, so you're expecting some high amounts around the low. But, you know, K values are lower. Let's take a look at your wind shear here. Really nothing here to talk about here. So, not really much of any wind shear here to deal with. So, this is good news here. This brings out pretty low of a tornado threat, but we do have very high lifted index, which gives thunderstorms to develop, giving a large hail risk, though. Let's take a look at your helicity here values. We do have some helicity to the atmosphere, but it's not much. We do have some higher amounts in central Kansas, but with the other ingredients, it's pretty low. Let's go into your Saturday here. So here's your helicity here. You got some higher amounts into Missouri and Arkansas. Let's take a look at your lifted index here. Very high amounts, -11. So right now around Springfield, Missouri, looks like you're getting some, may have a chance of pretty good severe weather at this point. We got some 20s out in Oklahoma. Got some 20s as well in Arkansas. Not much. Again, your Cape and Shear values though are a little bit higher in Oklahoma, but it's higher than on Friday. Your Cape, very high K values, over 4,000 along the front. That's a lot. A Cape. It's a very unstable atmosphere you're talking about there. Let's go into your Sunday here. The area kind of gets smaller. You can see it kind of covers a good chunk of Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana there. Maybe even Oklahoma again. Let's take a look at your Cape and Shear. Wow, very high down here. So really an increased tornado threat for that area. Your wind shear is actually a little bit higher. Talk about some values up into the mid-20s. Your lifted index, very high, -12, -13, very high values. You can tell where your low is. It's actually right here, near Kansas City. If helicity is a little bit high there, you may even have potential for severe weather development, which there is right here, though. May have some potential severe weather. There's even a pocket over here of nearly 400 out in western Kentucky. And if you are paying attention over here, it's showing some a little bit higher wind shear values as well, but low Cape Shear. So there could be some favorable supercell development out of that area on Sunday. Let's go into your Monday here. It starts to kind of go off. Since that round there starts to die off, you can tell where your cold front kind of really is. It kind of looks like it kind of races off or dies, maybe. But here we go into Monday. This is when things really start to get acted up. So your helicity is very high up here, which gives a vertical shear, if I'm correct, for helicity. You don't want high helicity values. We got a little bit of a lower lifted index here. Got -8 for some areas there, -5, -6. So it's a little low, but there's still some good rotation in the atmosphere. Here's your wind shear here. So 28 up here. So right now it's pretty favorable for these areas up here, particularly Texas. Not really looking to be that favorable. Your Cape and Shear here is actually a little bit higher in this area as well. Expect this to change, okay? This is over a week out, so you're going to expect things to change here. The models will go up and down, up and down. That's what I'm expected to see from these models. That's what they usually do this far out. You can see here's the Cape here. We got pretty favorable Cape. So right now your severe weather chances, even the tornado threats there, especially for portions of that around Nebraska through eastern Kansas and eastern Oklahoma, Texas. Not looking to see any severe weather threat at this point. Let's go on to the 21st here. And this is very, holy crap. Expect this to change, okay? That is very unstable atmosphere. Nearly 6,000 joules per kilogram, man. That's very high. You can see there those very high values even stretch into the Midwest here. Now, this is the day we have to watch here. Could be potential tornado outbreak. If that tells you the air is extremely, extremely unstable. Let's take a look at your Cape and Shear values here. A lot of these areas are actually over 1,000. That is not good here. It seems like it's pretty favorable up here and down here as well. So very concerning on Tuesday right now. We even have some higher values going on up into this area. This area here in particular here may even have a pretty good chance of a line of tornadic supercells here. You see where your cold front is. Going right here is your cold front. Right here. And along that, you got some high values here. Even out ahead of this, there's even mid-20s. You don't even need this much here for a pretty good tornado development. Let's take a look into your lifted index here. Got some pretty high values here. -10, -9, so large hail threat is definitely there. Let's take a look to your helicity values. Very, very high back here. So right now you got a very favorable a lot of supercells there. Could even give a chance of some damaging winds there. We even have some high helicity values up here as well. So you can get some scattered supercell development. This kind of looks like a double cold front here. Your first cold front's here, or that could be your dry line too. It kind of looks that way, doesn't it? A dry line here and your cold front's back here. That's what it really looks like. If you got a dry line right here, you're in a little bit of big trouble there for a dry line. So yeah, now that's out of the way. Let's take a good part of the video. Let's go into your Friday. So here's your system developing. Very windy though. Get your low pressure is 993 millibars, 991, 986. Here's Saturday. Kind of dies down some. Then a new one develops here. 995, 996. That really starts to race up that way. There's Monday. There's your cold front there. Seems like this here shows a different story, doesn't it? The new one develops here. Yeah, this is kind of showing a little bit of... So, we do have moisture there. Moisture is there. So, got a very humid atmosphere. So, we really got to watch those days there because this is looking to be a pretty good multi-severe weather event. Everybody started talking about this here. Even Redis, there's weather meteorologists out there talking about these days here. So things may change here. We're going to see. I'm probably expecting these the models to change. They'll go up, down, up, down. That's what they usually do this far out. That's pretty normal. So we're going to see what happens. We probably get a better idea of it when we go into more of the first day of severe weather, which is Friday. I think we'll have a pretty good idea of it. But since it's Sunday, it's extremely far out. It's even out of the 4 to 8 day outlook. And SPC will be watching this closely as we get into those days there. So if these models here do keep up, expect the SPC to issue some of those like day 7, 6, and 8, maybe even 5 to be upgraded to a slight risk. So yeah, so this could be a pretty dangerous event. It is going in for a lot of people as well. So don't panic yet. It's still far out. Just keep in mind this is still far out. So expect things to change. But it's definitely interesting to talk about. So this is all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Also like to say Happy Mother's Day to the mothers that are watching this video. If you do like this video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit that bell notification. If you got a question about this severe weather event in the weather this week, go ahead and put in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer them. I'll see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.